What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Compass box whiskey. Haven't done a whole lot of compass box, which, I mean, we talked about compass box a good bit. Really like one of the better blended scotches out there on the American market. The one we got tonight kind of broke some rules, rattled some cages in Scotland because they kind of broke the rules of what would be considered what you can do with Scotch whiskey. But that's the ones we got tonight. We'll kind of get into it. Scotch, we got blended Scotch whiskey, Compass Box Spice Tree. Compass Box whiskey has been rattling some cages in Scotland when they originally first started. So, Spice Tree. One of their core range, one of the core lineups of Compass Box whiskey. Blended malt. So they make blended whiskey. They have blended Scotch and then blended malt whiskey. So this one happens to be a blended malt. Everything is just comprised of single malts from different distilleries. Not really a distillery themselves. They call themselves whiskey makers. So they kind of rattled some cages in Scotland when they started making the Spice Tree. So the idea was to put a bunch of different single malts. They re-age it themselves, but when they re-age it, they were putting French oak staves in the barrels, or French oak in the barrels. And Scotch Whisky Society was like, absolutely not. You're not putting. You can't in Scotland. I guess you can't add stuff to the barrels to change the flavor of it. Or in the United States, it's not an issue. They do like, I mean, even Maker's Mark does a stave profile, but selection, the private selection stave profile. This stuff right here, to get around that, it was actually taken off the market. They had a big legal battle with Compass Box and the Whiskey Society that makes the rules in Scotland. And then they changed the way they do it. They actually started making barrel heads out of French oak and then put their whiskey into American oak barrels or whatever barrels they want to age it in with those French oak heads on it. So it worked out. I mean, this is what they came up with. This is the Spice Tree. Nice little label. All that labels are awesome. Like, I don't know who does the artwork on them, but man, it's pretty cool. Color's nice. So it's natural color now, chill filtered whiskey. Really dark color for a Scotch. Non-age statement whiskey. All their whiskeys are non-age statement or a range of ages. You really don't know what age they are because they take in single malts, old, new single malts, younger single malts, putting them in a vat and kind of just blending them. Blending some whiskey and then re-aging it the way they want to. But if you go online, I'm not sure the exact composition of the malts. I guess I really didn't do my homework on that. But to be honest with you, you can go online and whatever whiskey they're making, you can see exactly how much, what is used to make each blend and how much they use. They actually do pie charts, but they do use a lot of linkwood in their whiskeys. There's a bunch of whiskeys that Compass Box specifically uses for their stuff. If it's smoky, they use a lot of Kalila. God, there's one I can't think. Clynelish. Clynelish is a big. They use a lot of Clynelish single malt in their blends, but that's what we got. Let's get into the taste, guys. So it's all ex-bourbon cask, so you're gonna get that nice color where that's where the color's coming from, that ex-bourbon. But off the nose, like French vanilla, what you would get from a bourbon aged in a used cask, used oak. I'm sure the French barrel, French oak barrel heads are doing their thing in that. Creamy vanilla, also like red, bright red candy apple maybe with some caramel. Oak comes through a little bit. Really light oak. Bacon spices. Be a little cinnamon. But yeah, like fresh apples. Nice French vanilla nose to it. Let's get into the taste, guys. Cheers. Man, that's so good. First pour tonight, so definitely French vanilla. Apples popping right off the top. Almost a little pear note to it. The oak comes in about mid palate. Oak and spice about mid palate. Pretty long, little finish on there though. You don't really tell. They don't really tell you exactly how old each component of the malt is, but it is a non-age statement. This one comes. It's right at 46%, so it's 92 proof. You get a good little proof for a Scotch, to be honest with you. It's not the standard, and that's what makes it a good blend. I mean, to be honest with you, out of all the blends, Compass Box is probably one of the better blended whiskeys out there. Blended malts. You can't. They're way above like I would say like a typical blend like from Buchanan's or Chivas or something like that. But all those whiskeys have grain in them, whereas this one's just it's all blended malt. So. That apple comes out right away. Caramel apple, vanilla, good creaminess to it. Oak by mid palate with some spices, all that bacon spices, the cinnamon, a little bit of nutmeg. You could tell it's ex-bourbon cask because you get a lot of those bourbon, a lot of the same notes you get in bourbon, but it's in used cask with that French oak accent to it. Finish is long though. It's a long finish with the like oak tannins and spices kind of coming in last, and then kind of tuckering off into the finish. Yeah, that is good stuff. They even have the story on the back of it how they created a whiskey, they had to discontinue production, and then they started working with Coopers in France and Scotland to kind of develop the hybrid oak cask that would allow for them to achieve the same results, pretty much that they did before they got into trouble with it. So, yeah, good stuff. Out of all the Scotch whiskeys that Compass Box makes, this is probably my favorite. I don't know why we've never done this. I think we've done a review on Spaniard before. Oak Cross, we didn't do a review on, but I've had a couple of bottles of Oak Cross, which is discontinued. Was in their core lineup, but this one's in their core lineup. You got Orchard House, Artist Blend, Gasco Blend. Those are like their bottom line. Probably like base you would get. I mean, there's a lot of grain whiskey in there, but most of it is malt. But it's an actual blend. It's not a blended malt. So good stuff. So definitely recommend on this. Actually, I need to get another bottle. This is one of them that I keep it in the lineup. It stays in the collection. So even if I go through a bottle of this, I'll always pick up another bottle to have one. This is like a staple in the house. So roundabout for price wise with it, they used to be able to get them for about $65. Now they run about 68. So a little bit under $70 with it. Some places you'll find a little bit over $70, but it's good whiskey. It really is. And for 65, I would pick it up big time. But usually you will find it for like most places you'll pick it up, and maybe like a whiskey shop, like just a place that just sells whiskey. Not too many grocery stores have these. So availability wise, with that being said, if you go into your local liquor store, they may have it. A grocery store, 9 times out of 10, probably won't have it. But it's something you almost got to search out. But you shouldn't have to order it to find it. You may have to drive a little bit. But yeah, but $68, I think it's worth it. It's definitely there in that price range. Whiskey Couyons rating on it, 8 out of 10. It's probably my favorite Compass Box whiskey that I've had for the price. Now, Compass Box Hedonism is great. It's a grain whiskey they make, so I don't even think it has any malt in it, or if it does have malt, it's a little bit, but it is a blended whiskey. But that one runs in the, I don't know, $115, $120 range, where this one's right at $68, and every bit as good probably. So, but yeah, Compass Box Spice Tree, guys. Yeah, go pick up a bottle if you haven't had it. You won't be disappointed in it. And we'll see you guys in the next review.